Admiral Piett, Lord Vader has sent me to update your fleet since the meta change. Let us begin.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris coming at you for another Deerfish Gaming video, and today I'm very excited because we're going over my updates to Admiral Piett Colossus after the Django ban. I received a comment asking for my thoughts on this very subject, so here we are. If you like the idea of that, hit that like button, and if you don't want to miss any more content coming out of the Deerfish Gaming channel, hit subscribe. I love making decks and editing decks, so I'll always be posting my deck videos, and it's about time for me to start doing some gameplay videos again, so be on the lookout for that. And don't be afraid to comment and a subject that maybe you want to see me cover down below. I will try to do my best to cover that anytime you guys want to see something. But with all that underway, here's the picture of the changes, like always. And without further ado, let's get into my thoughts and changes to Admiral Piett Colossus post Django ban. Okay, so this video isn't going to be long. I'm just going to go over my updates. I already made a super long 45-minute deep dive video on Admiral Piett Colossus that I will have linked at the end of this video so that you can go click that and give that a watch if you so choose, if you haven't seen it already. But I am kind of going into this video assuming that you probably have already seen that video. So you can go watch that if you haven't. It's I put a lot of work into it and I'm pretty proud of it. I really enjoy playing this deck. And with the rise of Sabine and Quinlan going down, not that Quinlan isn't good, it's just that Quinlan is great, but it seems to not handle the pressure of being the top deck quite as well as Sabine is going to be able to. So I think that there's going to be less Quinlans and more Sabines, and I think that we can tech easier for Sabine, especially with being Colossus and not doing the 30 health base. If I was going to do an update and I thought Quinlan Voss was going to be the super major player that you had to watch out for, like potential 20% meta or whatever, I would do a 30 health base. But I think Sabine is probably going to be the most represented deck that you go to at a big tournament. So I think this 35 Colossus health base will do you best right now. Now let's get into the further updates. Admiral Piett lets you ramp. 1 free cost on if he's not flipped, and 2 cost if he is flipped on a capital ship. Okay, and then Colossus, we have the 35 health and just 1 less card in hand. I put Grinnick back in the deck because he is just he is amazing, and I really liked him, and I took him out because I just thought maybe I need a 2-drop Sentinel. But the support that he provides on the back end, like of missing your ramp, like maybe I don't hit a resupply or a super laser tech, or maybe I do hit a super laser tech, but they for whatever reason don't go space for the first few turns, so I don't really have a way to pop my super laser tech because I didn't draw a Pershing. The Krennic comes in clutch. I can still play on one of my 6-drop ships on 4 if I didn't by chance draw my MC-30 assault frigate. So I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of like plan A, plan B, plan C in there. And I kind of took that out before and it worked, but I think this is and especially it worked for the way the meta was then with Django being banned. But I really like how this is working out now. And there's probably only 1 card that I haven't actually tried in the deck, and we're gonna cover that last. But I had to add it in after the monster performance that it had this past weekend in Lille. Okay, but that's why we added Director Krennic in the deck. Okay. And then we went, I know Iden was already in the deck, but she's performing even better in my eyes than I thought. So we're moving her up to 3. And the other reason is because we took Prepare for Takeoff out because I wasn't liking the fact, especially with Sabine being popular, that Prepare for Takeoff, I'm still not building my board state. Sure, I'm drawing 2 big capital ships, but what do you freaking do? Sabine doesn't care about that. She's like, oh yeah, cool. You didn't put anything on the board. Good for me. Okay, that's how Sabine feels. So it's better to put that Onyx Squadron Brood out there on turn 1, and then you could potentially throw Iden on turn 2 as a pilot, and you can take out a Sabine's masterpiece if they choose to play that. Pop the shield, you're good. Or maybe they don't choose to play anything in space. Well, you got a 5/6 unit in space, and they're doing 5 damage to you on turn 2 because a fleet lieutenant. All of a sudden, you can also return 5 damage on your turn 2. But guess who has more health to work with if a 5 for 5 health race starts happening? You do. So you get into scenarios where maybe you can potentially start doing some crazy things with Sabine and put pressure on them in weird ways. Maybe they start making some wrong decisions because of that. It happens. It has happened in my playing, and trust in the Iden. I promise. I think she's really good. And she, and that shield also helps you from a force throw. Maybe they play Grogu. You play the Onyx Squadron Brute. You pilot Iden Verso on the Onyx Squadron Brute, and they force throw you. Well, you got that shield to at least protect your 5/6 unit, and now you're in good position. Because I have seen quite a few people start to play Grogu so they can turn 2 force throw on the Quinlan Voss red deck. So as I mentioned before, prepare for takeoff has come out for the Onyx Squadron Brute. You get to heal 2 damage from a base. Trigger that when playing Chimera, or when it gets defeated ultimately after you put an Iden Verso on it, because who's not going to want to defeat a 5/6 ship? On top of that, it's a very, very good overwhelming barrage target. So, because you need that 5 damage for your overwhelming barrage turn to take out any 7 health leader like Quinlan Voss. That's the premium health line on a 5 health flip turn. And that's the same reason why we have the MC-30 Assault Frigate. So, if we need to, if we didn't get this combo off, we can slap this on there. And then, of course, you can always pilot on there, and as overwhelm and raid 1. Just a lot of things you can do. You can make your turbo laser salvos just that much more deadly. So just very, very good versatility with Iden Verso. Also can just play her on the ground. Shielded 4/3, not bad either. The CR-90 relief runners coming back in. Were they out before? I don't remember. I think they maybe were at 3 before, but we're going down to 2. But the when defeated ability is great with the Chimera, and and the Restore 2 is also great. If you're not necessarily going into leader that you need to have an overwhelming barrage for 7 on turn 5, then this bad boy can just really put you in a good position, because you can play this and then follow up with Chimera. Trigger the heal 3 and then attack with Restore 2, and that's a heal and a 5 damage. Ooh, I like that. And that's with bodies. That's not with vigilance. That's with bodies. I like that. I really, really like that. We moved the Fleet Interdictor down to 2 just because I was drawing it too much. No Django, not quite as popular, but playing it for 5 before the... And again, let me stress this. Before Piett flips, with Krennic out, you can play this for 5, and that is very, very good, because that means you can save your Piett. You can, maybe get an overwhelming barrage out of this thing to clear the field so Piett can flip safely, or get a turbo laser salvo, and then you can flip Piett, and then maybe the next turn when you're on 8, you can play your Devastator instead of your Avenger. Ooh, but you can just do things and protect your Piett when you're able to play your Fleet Interdictor first. But we moved the Avenger up to 3 because we love the Avenger. And you always want to have one, and just in case they remove it, you want to draw the second one, or even already have it in your hand. That's how good this bad boy is. Ramping up and then playing it on Resource 7 when your opponent is on Resource 5 is absolutely brutal, game breaking, and makes me want to quit whenever Piett does that to me. And I'm a deck that's not necessarily prepared for that. Because bouncing an Avenger doesn't feel great. You know what I mean? You gotta get rid of it. We moved the Devastator down to 2. Don't worry, the third one's in the sideboard. You of course have to have 3 of these bad boys in somewhere in the main deck and side deck. Merciless Contest. You gotta have the Merciless Contest because we gotta get rid of Chewie. Now, sure, there's some madmen and women out there that might go piloting Chewie in the space against you. I don't recommend that. I probably shouldn't be giving advice to the enemy, but I don't recommend it. But if they do decide, you're playing a Han Green, and they decide to ramp up and play a Chewie on the ground because you're not playing that much ground, and then they they want to start going with that hot shot blaster and that Chewie, you gotta stop that in the bud immediately. So we're gonna do things like Merciless Contest to keep that in check. Okay. And then nothing new. We got the no glory only results still. This all has stayed the same. The events, Power of the Dark Side, Overland Barrage, Turbo Laser Salvo. We still got all that. And then we got top target. Okay, so Director Krennic saving you that one more resource will sometimes help at the top target. Or, just sometimes Piett, you find yourself resourcing a little bit extra, especially when he's flipped, it happens, where you still have one extra resource. Well, that's where this top target comes in hand. And it was so impactful. We want to go from 2 to 3. That's how good this is. You want to heal, 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 heal. We love it. Okay. Now, the final card in this list that I've added because of this weekend, it just well overperformed what I thought, and I just overlooked it. And I don't know, maybe it wasn't good at one time, but it is great now, and that is entrenched. Okay. Attached unit can attack bases. We do not play on the ground that much at all, really ever, and especially not after like the first couple of turns. So, and what you really want Piett for is to flip at the right time to get that double ramp off of a big ship like the Avenger or the Devastator and play that really early. We're not really trying to have Piett do a bunch of attack, and he has a 2 attack and he has 7 health. He's not going to do that much damage to your base. We want his ability to go off at least once. We want to ramp for 2 free cost of a ship, not 1. Yeah, that was like a word puzzle. I don't know why I said that weird. But yeah, we love Entrenched. I added it to the deck. I think it's going to do you justice. You're going to be able to just not have to worry about like a dark sabered Sabine or anything like that. Like, oh no, I didn't draw my fell. I didn't draw my I don't have takedowns. I don't have fell. Because we got Overwhelming Barrage and No Glory only results and Turbo Laser Salvo. Well, if you entrench something, sure they get a little bit of extra health, but if you pilot Item Verso on something, you get 3 extra attack also. So it kind of matches out that entrenched, except that entrenched unit can attack your base. So everything kind of works out, I think, and I really like where this deck is at right now in the main deck. And I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Let's get into the sideboard. So it's not like Quinlan Voss has gone away. We still got 2 salvage in the sideboard, 3 vigilance, more restore, and also the control mirror, just in case you need to get a little bit of discard action or defeat a unit. You know what I mean? Just very, very useful. Vigilance is very, very useful. Most of the time when you play it for 6, so you're going to do the discard 6 cards from an opponent's deck and then heal 5 damage from a base is typically what happens, because you're going to side in the control matchup. 1 Super Laser Blast. I was a 2 Super Laser Blaster, but especially with going with Maul coming out at the big Maul, right, and just really going hard on the capital ships like we're supposed to, because it's an Admiral Piett deck. The Turbo Laser Salvo works. We're going to have a big ship in space for the Turbo Laser Salvo, so you really only need 1 Super Laser Blast, and Super Laser Blast is a turn too late in my opinion anyway in the meta right now, like if you're going against Sabine or something. So it's only worth sighting in if you think you can actually get it off. Relentless, of course, for the control mirrors. Devastator for if you feel like you can get that Devastator in and play it, but there's not a lot of scenarios. There's some decks where you're just not going to get there probably, so I think it was worth cutting 1. It's just fine. And then, of course, Annihilator. With Krennic back in, there is a world where you can play Annihilator for 8 because it has a when defeated ability, okay? So just remember that. Piett flipped, Krennic out. You can play Annihilator on 8 if you have it in hand. Don't screw yourself. It's so strong. I mean, don't get me wrong. Devastator for 8 is so great too, because it's also like a removal and a sentinel. But yeah, this thing is just amazing. I love playing this card. Every time it feels great playing an 11 cost card for 8. But yeah, so that was this deck. Okay, these were all the changes I made, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you decide to play this deck going forward, I wish you the best of luck. You have been warned. Quinlan Voss is still pretty rough matchup. That's just how it is. But I think that with my version of the list, it can at least provide a good shell, I think, for going against Sabine. It's obviously not the perfect list, and I don't, if you want to make some changes, do you. We all have different play styles. But I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any more videos. And I'll see you next time. Peace.